Hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. So, I haven't done anything without you guys. Um, I was trying to figure out why I was so weak though. So I'm in a different area, and I tested with somebody else using the same armor. And so I'm over here, but I haven't actually done anything without you guys. I'm just over here. Basically what we did was there's a guy that spawns right there. I can even show you. That guy. And I would log on to him, walk up to him, let him get a poke, and then block. And then we test how much damage he did. Because there's two different attacks he'll do there. One does more damage. Surprisingly, it's not the one he just did, which was the one where he builds up. Because it seems it doesn't matter which attack he does. Because you see that did 16 damage. He has a chance to do a weak version of that attack, regardless of which one it is. I don't understand why. It's just how it is. And so basically we were trying to get the weak or the big hit to hit. And we were basically saying, this is how much damage you did to me, so much damage you did to you. And we were testing it. So, what I'm going to do, try to fight this guy a couple times. If that doesn't work, like if I can't beat him, I'm just going to grind for a long while. And hope that makes a difference. Upgrade my vitality a lot. Try to upgrade my arcane to 27. Yep. So I can't be knocked down when he does that. I mean, I can, because there's a way you can get up from it quick enough. But basically, it can't be knocked down when he does that, because it one-hits me. And so I have to be blocking when it does it. So try this again. Come over here. That attack off properly. Honestly, if all it was about was shielding against the damage he does, I could do it super easy because of how I'm built. Problem is I can't deal any damage to him. I might need to see if he do like, because I think he's immune to everything. But I should see if there is something he's weak to, like really weak. You know, he kind of sounds like Margaret. I wonder if that was intentional. Like, not just with how his voice sounds, but with what he says and stuff like that. Like if Margaret had a, or Margot had a meat-headed brother. Use this just because it ends up being better for everyone. I drink a health potion. Hit him, bro. My mimic is not even hitting him. Now I'm doing it. Stomp, but I gotta get it anyway. Big stomp. Here we go. Watch this again, just because it's interesting.
That will be all. Thou didst me good service, Sirosh.
I think he did that because Sirosh was going to come off his back and attack us, or he was going to become, like, real, and he was going to attack us with both his arms while he fights, and bite us and stuff like that, and he wanted to be a man and fight on his own. Okay, I'm going to skip this part. Damn it. I can't dodge well, is my problem. Okay. Just a couple more times. But don't fight him, fight me. So he definitely takes damage from effects, so he's not like 100% of anything. Okay, wait, but hold up. If we can do that, you know what I really need to do? Yeah, just kill me. There's no fight back when he does his stomps that much. I think I want to try. Let me make sure I have bolts. There we go. Rot and bleed will probably work for me. And then let's grab my crossbow. And then I'll have my mimic hold this and have it shoot him. While I tank the hits. And hopefully this works. Okay. Because I can just straight up take all your hits. I just need you not to attack him is the problem. You just knock my shield aside. Here's the rot rod. Couldn't get out of the range. But I think the rot will definitely work. Okay. So I have to find a way to keep his attention. Okay, this might work. Saying he always does that for some reason when I run at him. I hate that it always does the third because it wastes my time, especially when it doesn't land. Sometimes it's great, and I want it to do that, and sometimes it's just a big waste of my effort. Oof, got my shield up this time. Okay, he's got the rod on him. Just trying to drag him over here, keep his attention. That's my real problem, is there's no way to really keep his attention. Like, for sure. Which seems to be like a consecutive problem with me. It's either he pays too much attention to me or he doesn't pay attention to me at all. I still think I need to level up some. And I'm going to go do that. But, I'm definitely gonna give him the crossbow from now on because it really helps him do damage. It's annoying that he does it like that, but it's something that can be dealt with. I just need to know how the mimic actually works, like if I can increase its health by increasing mine. Let's see. Okay, so it's like it boosts off your stats, is what the consensus is, which I can't exactly trust. But it might, at the very least, if I upgrade my vitality some, it'll mean when I use the potion to heal myself after I summon it and I get the shield. Okay, I need to add beetle. Just to speed things up. You get stuff real fast this way as long as you actually can kill enough of them quickly, and you're careful not to get slaughtered by the red guys. I can't roll while I'm doing that for some reason. It's like the shield input inhibits the roll input, so that it's either slower or doesn't happen, or something like that. I think it makes it slower, and then on top of that, if you get hit, you just don't get anything from it. If I hang left a little bit, it seems to reduce the amount of damage I get from getting hit by the red thing. Now I can do this and it doesn't matter. I may what I may end up doing is taking these and just buying arrows with it. Because I hardcore think it may not be quicker, but it's definitely easier to just shoot this bird. To be honest, I like the pulley bow, just because of how it looks. So let's go with... Honestly, these are just cool looking, and so I don't want to waste them. see, yeah, I can make normal arrows, bone arrows. Let's make... Not that I plan to kill this 120 times unless I have to, but... If I have to, I have to. If I can hit this thing. There it goes. I'm back to not remembering how to do that though. I'm gonna go grab something to drink, so I'll be right back. Okay. So let me get back into this. Start right here. Honestly, I'm not that great with a bow, so I can only... It's probably because they're not fletched arrows or whatever. But I mean, I can hit him eventually. So I could never be an archer in real life is because every time I use it, I got a trial and error instead of just... I use it, I figure out how the bow works and with the arrows, and I'm good. Yeah, that doesn't reach far enough. So it's hitting the tree. It's hitting the tree. So it has to be down here where I hit him, or else it'll hit the tree. I cannot hit him for shit. There we go. So if I hit right here while he's right there, I can hit him. Now, if I can remember that, we'll be fine. I think the reason they killed the bird is just because it's so many. Not necessarily because it's quick. Yeah, it's too late now. Let's shoot up here so we can get farther. I think if we shoot up, it goes further backwards. Actually. Oh. Definitely using more arrows than necessary, but I don't think anyone cares, including myself. It's 112,000 for now. Nice. Was it 112,000 or 120,000? That's the question. 120,000. Got it. So I want to... Arcane, it's gonna take too long to up my arcane. Let me just up my vigor to astronomical levels. This is one of those. It's gonna take a long time for me to level up things, so I'm just gonna spend a whole video doing it. I wonder if he just runs at it, or if he'll just go back to his normal path if you don't hit him again. Okay, it just goes back to his... Or he realizes you're there and tries to act all... Okay. Was it about here? We'll further up. Now we wait. He should run up to me. If he doesn't, I'm just gonna... When he does this, not worry about it. Okay, he does. Hey, I nailed it. So up above here, right above his head. Like that. Okay, so as long as the numbers pop up, you get the runes. But if the numbers don't pop up, you don't get the runes. And I'm guessing it's like, even if it dies, if that doesn't happen, it doesn't count anything that happened. Because like with bosses, something similar will happen. Oh, that's a Mystic Grace. Okay. With bosses, like with Mog, I killed him once. And it didn't count it. because I was dead at the same time. It's this game. I got called. And it was a recording, trying to be clever. But I get a lot of calls nowadays where they're just recordings. I don't understand it, but just try to figure out how to. There we go. I think that goes through the branches. There we go. I like that there's holes in the branches. I don't like that they're so hard to see. I'm just gonna spend a while shooting this. I'm not gonna worry about the level ups. Because I already know I'm gonna get at least 4 more points into Vigor, and then there's a lot that I have to think about with the rest of the level ups. Like, I'd like to give it the bleed, but to do that I need the arcane up by a lot. Because it's gotta be 27 or else it won't work. And while it doesn't necessarily have to be that, because like my arcane is 15, I get 5 from the rune that I use, although it means I'd have to constantly be using the rune arcs up against bosses at least. I should have used, or I guess I got that from the Black Blade, so if there's another Black Blade, I should use the...
You're beautiful.
Let's see. Unalloyed gold needles that Mikilla crafted to ward off the meddling of outer gods, capable of subduing the flame of frenzy. If inherited, allows one to cheat fate and avoid becoming the lord of frenzied flame. However, the needle is yet unfinished and can only be used in the heart of the storm beyond time, said to be found in Faramazula. I think this is if you decided to become the fire instead of her, you can use that. But what was it that I was doing? Ah, yes, inventory. Equipment. I'm trying to make sure this actually needs 27, and I'm not just making up a number. It's 27 arcane. I can add 5 arcane, which will get me to 20, but I'll still need 7 more upgrades if I want to get that to work. So I'm going to be at 22. Which is a lot. Okay. So really it's about deciding whether or not that's worth it to me. What I'll probably do is first check to see, once I'm done fighting this bird, if there's enough stat points to allow it. Because it won't matter if there's not enough stat points to begin with. I hate that I always have to wait for this bird to turn around before I can hit it. Because to begin with, if there's not enough stat points, then it's not going to matter to begin with. And I need the health points regardless. So preferably I'd get both, but honestly I don't think that's going to be an option. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for him to turn back around again. Always got to nudge it up a little bit when you do this one. Apparently that wasn't enough. Yep. I think regardless, I'm going to need the health points. I hate upgrading vigor. Like with a passion. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. I'm not fucking with that bird doing that. For some reason, if he's way back there, he won't do that. But if he's up here, he will. So I'm just gonna let him go back there and come back. Just the easiest way to do this. Okay, he just doesn't give a shit about any of the arrows. Got it. Says your arrows are weak, and your mind is feeble. Your efforts are futile. I like that I found a place where if I hit it there and I wait for him to get to the right spot, he'll do it. I'm just worried that he's gonna do the whole not jump off the cliff and T-pose at you thing, but I think we should be fine. Because for the most part, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna jump off the cliff. Could do it the other way, but it takes a while and it takes effort, and I'm not about that life. This way, even when I think I'm gonna miss, I usually don't miss. Can I hit? Okay, even when I think I'm gonna hit, I can't hit. This is totally because I was bragging just a second ago. You know, it doesn't matter. As long as I hit it before he goes past that point, he's gonna look at it, and I can shoot in the same spot, and it's fine. Still quicker than the other way. Not dealing with it. Okay. I think if you you squat, it puts your arrow away, which is good to know. Okay. So yeah, I definitely have enough if I want to continue to grind for a long time, which I probably might. Okay, with a solid, probably might. Just because of how many arrows I got. Even when I mess up, I still have plenty. And he's past it. I'm not wasting a bunch of arrows on him. I appreciate how stupid he is, but also he should totally notice if there's an arrow directly next to him. Just because he's facing the wrong direction shouldn't mean he doesn't see it. It's one thing if you want to say the birds are deaf, but the birds aren't deaf, because if you jump behind them, they'll attack you. But like, if somebody shot an arrow directly behind you, you'd at least be suspicious. Especially if you're a crazed creature that likes to eat everything. Which, like, if you're gonna tell me this thing isn't, I think you're the crazy one, not me. And I think it's about timing whether or not I hit it when I shoot in that spot, and I just have bad timing. Because if I just immediately run up, aim at the spot, wait for it to turn around, and then fire. That was a bad example, but usually I hit it. It's also a little bit about the variation right and left that I do, which is unintentional. And if I shoot too far in one direction, it costs me. But like that branch right there, if I can remember it, I can hit it. This branch. There we go. If I get to 500, I should be able to do the 4 upgrades that I want. Because each one costs a little over 100. I'm not messing with him when he does that. I don't know what stops him, what causes him to mess up like that. But I ain't messing with it. I wonder if it's like a thing they put in there to mess people up, or if it's just a variation in how he runs, or what. But it's definitely annoying. There we go. Aimed a little far to the right. Didn't fire quick enough, so it went straight past it. 470. 480 something. Yeah, I did that a little too late, but it's fine. Okay, that's close enough. So we're gonna see if we can. Yep. Get that up to 30. What's our health at now? 994. So almost regain 500 when we drink a flask. A mimic because of mimic. And then the flask that restores half my health. It's not enough to restore everything from the mimic, but it'll do most of the stuff from the mimic. I still think getting over 1200 HP just to negate the effects of the mimic would be nice. There's just only so much grinding I can do and not be annoyed with the game. This is basically how I felt when doing the dragon in Dark Souls 1. It's the only place I used to grind to the dragon. Just because it was enough. Honestly, this is a similar kind of build. I just didn't do any vitality because the armor was so overpowered in Dark Souls that I didn't need it. I mean, I still got obliterated by the final boss where he killed me in like 3 hits, but I could block his attacks with very little knock through because of my shield. And then I could just fight him 1v1. Whereas it feels almost like you have to have a Spirit Ash or be really good at this game to fight any of the bosses. And it's just annoying? Is that the best way to put it? I don't know. But not having good armor upsets my brain because I really like to be able to equip the strongest possible armor and be overpowered. That's why I like games like this. Is I can play it with the meathead strats and still win regardless of what the boss throws at me. But I get that they wanted it to be a difficult game. It's part of the mechanics of the game is that it's difficult, not just because there would be no point if it wasn't difficult. It would still be, don't get me twisted, it would still be a fun game with a great story. It just, you would play it for 5 seconds and be done with it. And there are a lot of games like that that are good games, but it's just counterproductive for the style of game that this is. Because you want people to play it for a long time. And then they play it for a long time, so they show other people that it's a good game. And that it's worth playing for a long time, and so they get it. Kind of thing. Games aren't like that anymore. Like, even look at Mario. It used to be Mario was difficult. Like, actually, legitimately difficult to beat the first world. And there was like 30 worlds. Well, not like 30 worlds, but you know what I mean. It'd be hard to beat each level. And when they taught a new mechanic, It was just implemented. You would get a quick tutorial on it, and then you go. Do it. But nowadays, you can beat a Mario game without thinking about it. Like, super easily. And don't get me wrong, there's still like difficult Mario games and stuff like that that come out. But I don't think it's their intention to make them difficult. I think their intention is just to throw a game together, put a little bit of lore because people like lore, and then have it be what it is. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, where I find games that are difficult amusing. Just gonna reset this real quick. Because I like the challenge of, it's not because we put this really difficult puzzle where the solution is that you gotta step on this box that you don't know is here because we hid it behind 30 things. So it's not actually a puzzle. With these mechanics that we didn't tell you about because we thought you could just guess it. Because, like, there is a place for that kind of game, but a lot of the puzzle games that come out, their puzzles are unintentionally hard when they're hard. And it's just not satisfying to play. And then they're unintentionally easy when they're easy because they're just like, yes, box, push, jump on, do. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Lego Star Wars as it's a game from my childhood. But I don't play it for the puzzles or for the difficult gameplay because it's just not difficult and the puzzles aren't hard. And I don't play it for the storyline because it's the same old storyline that we already know. I play it because A, is my childhood, partially, and B, because they add little kooky, wacky things here and there that are cute to see, like behind the scenes stuff that isn't actually behind the scenes stuff, but it kind of is behind the scenes of this little world that they've remade. Where it's almost like an alternate universe. To the point that I think it was intentional that they practically remade all the games when they did the Skywalker saga. Because they left out a lot of content and added in a bunch of content that is different than the original Star Wars saga, or whatever the old big pack was. They completely changed the games and mechanics and stuff. And I think it was intentional, not because they thought, well, this won't mesh well with the new games we've created, or that we want to create, but I think it was because it's kind of like an alternate reality to even the other games they created. Because they wanted this to be different, because there would be no point in adding these new ones in if all of these are the same. And so it's like, it's fun to play to see this is going to be the next generation's childhood. This is like an alternate reality to what could have been my childhood. And it's still goofy and enjoyable at moments. And I can still be upset about what they did with the franchise in certain parts. And I'll admit there's some good stuff that came out of the new movies. But most of it was bad. It's like they planned out bad and somebody jabbed some good in there to be like, ha, fuck you. I'm still gonna make this a little good. And I don't know whose fault it is. Because both the first, the second, both sets, the first person who worked on the third movies and the second person who worked on the third movies did shit that was just god awful. And nobody liked. But they also did stuff that's like, okay, if this was a good movie, I would love this. Like pulling Luke's old X-Wing out of the swamp. If they had built it up and actually put an emotional connection and a bunch of time that she spent there and trained with him, and why we should like her, and why he, like, Luke himself should like her. Because he went from, I hate you, go away, you're not a Jedi, Jedi don't exist, to, oh, I'm going to train you everything I know because, boom, Yoda told me so. Or whatever. And then they didn't explain why he wouldn't want to teach her or why he would change his mind. Like, take for example, when they went back and they messed with Luke's past. So when they started making Anakin's story in the movies, they put that Yoda didn't want to train him. And they gave an excuse. Wasn't a great excuse, but it was an excuse that works for the movie because we don't really care why, but we just want to know that there is a reason why. And it was that he was too old. Which is by their standards, which is fucked up. And then they treat him like a child the whole time. Even once he is an adult. Because they don't truthfully see him as one of them. But you kind of get that from subcontext, rather than just throwing it out there. They don't have him monologue or think in his mind about how every second they don't take him seriously. He is not strong enough. He wants to be good. He wants this. He wants that. You get most of it out of subcontext with a little bit of monologuing that's not really monologuing because he's just talking to another character here and there. And there's something I disagree with on that point with people where they're like, it was right when the actor said we shouldn't say all of this or all of that, which I can get with when they're kids or when Luke and Anakin are kids, or when they haven't been, or like with Luke entirely. When Anakin was a kid, yes. When Anakin is an adult, it's actually appropriate for him to go on these weird tangents of stupidness, because he's just like, he is the epitome of an introverted nerd with all the power in the world. And introverted kids who feel like they've found a place to belong talk a lot. They will talk your fucking ear off. There was a kid I knew back in high school who didn't talk at all, really, to pretty much anyone. But I got to talking to him about something he actually was interested in, which was, I think, like making games or something. And the amount of words that came out of that kid's mouth was fucking innumerable, uncountable. Just so much. He had so much to say about the stuff that he liked because it was his thing. Because there's a lot of people, when it's about them or the stuff that they're interested in, that will just spout nonsense for days. Well, it's not nonsense, but you know what I mean. They'll just go and go and go. And so it's really correct rather than awkward, because it only seems awkward to people who, you know, have normal conversations on a daily basis. And so I do disagree that that was weird to put there, because he doesn't know what's proper to say, and he doesn't know how much he should say. So saying weird shit is actually, par for the course for him. Par for the course for people like him. But, when he's a kid, he's different because he hasn't been. Because the reason he's like that is because let's think about his childhood. He was he was fine. He grew up with a family or a mother at least, and he had friends. They showed that and all that. So he was fine. He had normal conversations. He could talk to people. But he was super smart. And so his friends did keep him at an arm's distance because every time he was doing stuff to do with the things he was interested in, he was smart and he was good at. None of them really believed in him or cared because they're kids. Of course they didn't. And then he got accepted into the Jedi Order. Uh, and so there's two ways you can think of it because I don't know whether or not they actually let him train with everybody else, or if they just had Obi-Wan Kenobi train him. Because I don't pay that much attention to the storyline. But what I do know is either he was trained with everybody else, meaning he was older than everybody else, making it awkward and weird so nobody would really want to hang out with him because he's an older kid. Especially when their teachers didn't really want to train him, so it would make sense that they would think he's a weirdo. Even the teachers think so. Or he was trained solely by Obi-Wan, meaning he never even got to experience what it's like to socialize with other Padawans. And either way you spin it, it's not exactly a good childhood where he can grow up and learn how to talk like a normal functioning adult. And that'll lead you to saying weird shit. So what I'm getting at is his writing there wasn't actually improper for the most part. It was when it came to Luke, but not with Anakin. What was it? Go back to the Star Wars thing, because Lego Star Wars, or just Lego in general, they're very aware that people have watched the movies and that they're not gonna just like them trying to recreate the movies, but with Legos. And they've always really been aware of that, as far as I know. And so they treat it as if they're like some kind of alternate world. I don't think it's intentional. But they treat it halfway between making fun of it as if it's reality and making fun of it as if this is all a staged movie where none of it's real. But they don't treat it as if you're literally going through the story of the movie if you pay attention. So if you're an adult, basically. And so I think they knew full well that the Skywalker saga would have to be not the same as what they did before. And I like how much they make fun of the Skywalker saga. And there's parts of it that they just straight up leave out. And I don't know if it's because they didn't like that it was in the movie in the first place, or people didn't like that it was in the movie in the first place. And they thought, or if they just thought it wasn't appropriate to show it to kids. Because, like, Finn and the X-Troopers, they have Finn escape. But they don't bring mention of the X-Troopers, like, at all. They have them show up, but they don't explain who they are or what they're doing there. They're just people that are there. And I can't tell if that's them going, oh, this is some politics that we don't want to step our toes into. Or if it's them going, we don't agree with this, so we're going to take it out. Or if it's just they didn't like how it sat in the movie. Okay, so now that I've done this, I'm going to do this. the Alexander jar shot, but guess I want to see if nope, neither of these lowers allowed. Okay. So I'm gonna get a couple more. I'm gonna run through this once more. And I'm just doing that to get enough to upgrade the crossbow maybe once or twice. Interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that rant was about. Okay. Okay, well I'm gonna leave this here. Because that was a lot of grinding. And the next one I'll try to beat him and see what I can do.